Alright, E-King Fight News back at it, and we're talking about how Bernard Hopkins is basically criticizing Rigondeaux. He did not like to see Rigondeaux quitting the way that he did against Lomachenko. I think, like others, we wanted to see the finish to that fight. Who knows how it would have ended up? Would Rigondeaux have gotten knocked down or stopped by the referee in a TKO type fashion, or did Rigondeaux have the ability to hurt Lomachenko? We never really saw that ability during the fight, and this is what Bernard Hopkins had to say. Is he done mentally or is he done physically? That's Bernard Hopkins' question to Guillermo Rigondeaux. He said he can answer that in two ways. Mentally, when you quit, you are actually done because you can always quit again. A quitter never stops from quitting. All you have to do is push that button and he'll quit again. He might be done in that aspect, Hopkins told Boxing Scene. So, the headline, it's interesting because the headline reads that Rigondeaux is 90% done, according to Bernard Hopkins. But what he's trying to say is boxing is 90% mental. Which is, I believe Teddy Atlas has said similar, he's made similar metaphors in boxing. Like it's 10% physical, 90% of it is mental. And you can have guys with tons of talent. Guys like Kell Brook. Guys like Victor Ortiz. Great talent level, great work ethic. But when it comes to, going to war and having to put yourself in a place where you're uncomfortable, you're getting hit, and you may realize, like many fighters have realized before, maybe fighting isn't really for them. Victor Ortiz quit against Maidana, quit against Jose Zito, if you consider that quitting. He also had a very big injury to his jaw. He basically broke his jaw, but he did quit in that fight. Rigondeaux quit. He also had a hand injury. And it depends what side of the fence you're on. Did he quit physically or mentally? Because Vitaly Klitschko also quit mentally. If you look, do people call Vitaly Klitschko a quitter in boxing? No, we remember him as a Hall of Famer because he's had signature victories over that dude Corey Sanders. That was his base. That's the fight I remember Klitschko winning and avenging his brother's loss and defining himself as the heavyweight champion. But he also has a few other big wins and was Lennox Lewis's last fight, Vitaly Klitschko. And Bernard Hopkins here, he's been doing his fair share of hating. If you look at his recent comments on Andre Ward as a pound for pound topic, and as and he's been hating on Rigondeaux for a while now. He has been, but he was right when it came to the Lomachenko fight. He did pick Lomachenko in that matchup. And to his credit, actually to his discredit, Bernard Hopkins has been in a lot of shady ass situations when it comes to getting out of a fight. So I find it interesting that Bernard Hopkins is the one talking about this, since Bernard himself had a shady situation with, I believe it was Antoine Eccles. And it's one of these fights, his early fights where it was a no contest, but dude knocked Bernard Hopkins flat outside the ring. And then Bernard somehow slips out of the ring, and they call that fight a no contest. I don't know what that was about, but and then there was that Chad Dawson fight, the rematch that was called a no contest, because in the second round, Bernard Hopkins somehow flops to the floor and he hurts his fucking shoulder against Chad Dawson. We all remember that. Man, Bernard Hopkins done some shady shit too, man. He has. Do people call him a quitter? No. They don't. They don't call Bernard Hopkins a quitter. But he's been able to escape out of some fights, even in more of a dramatic manner than... he's never quit on his stool, to his credit. To Bernard's credit. He's never had to quit on his stool. So I guess he does have a strange right to criticize Rigondeaux. Although obviously he has his own biases toward boxing. What more can you say? Guillermo Rigondeaux is in a tough spot right now. The word is he's moving back down to 122 pounds. I would like to see him fight Carl Frampton and call him out in Ireland. But the other part of Bernard's quote remains that Guillermo Rigondeaux, having had this sort of black eye on his resume, would he quit again? It's a very real question. And, you know, Rigondeaux needs to stamp. Now he's got to have an additional signature performance to prove he's really, to basically redeem himself. He needs to redeem himself after quitting, because it's not a good look. It's never a good look when you can't come out of your corner and you haven't been knocked out and nothing's stopping you from fighting. That's never a good look. So Bernard Hopkins, he's just got to fucking rub the needle in. Is he done physically? I don't think he's done physically. You know what? I'm gonna take a look at this fight again, and I want to see where Rigondeaux hurt his hand. I'm gonna try and fucking trace this shit back. Gonna find out. E-King Fight News, you know what it is. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and the other question is Loma pound for pound number one? Is he pound for pound number one right now? It's hard to say, but I think if he's not number one, he's number two. Do I put Terence Crawford up there? I think in terms of accomplishment, he deserves that spot at number one, because he's probably, like, I can say he's probably the best welterweight right now. We're gonna find out by the end of 2018 who the best welterweight is. So it's gonna take some time. But if Terence Crawford is the best welterweight, he is undeniably the pound for pound number one. And considering that he has cleaned out a division already, and Lomachenko is in the process of cleaning out 130, I gotta give it to Terence Crawford. Mainly because Lomachenko has not really, like, it's not like he cleaned out a division. Terence Crawford cleaned out 140. I have to give preference to the guy who cleaned out a division. I have to. It's not like he cleaned out 126. There were guys at 126 to fight, but they decided to move Lomachenko up to 130 and fight Mariaga. I don't know whose great decision that was, because for real, I don't know anyone at 126 that can touch Lomachenko right now. I don't know. Lomachenko's probably the best at 126, and we're finding out now who the best is at 130. We don't know if Lomachenko's the best at 130. So how do you rank him number one pound for pound? You know, would Bernard Hopkins? I wonder who he rates as number one pound for pound right now, because you know, criticizing Rigo, I don't know. I don't know what that does for B-Hop. I guess he's just speaking his mind. He usually keeps it 100 most of the time. But when it comes to his Golden Boy fight, he becomes a little biased. So it is what it is with Bernard, man. You know, has he? You know, it's weird because if he truly is keeping it at 100, he should speak about this Golden Boy situation with Mikey Garcia. And he should talk about those fucking emails, man. The racist emails from Golden Boy, man. He's been silent on a lot of different things, and obviously that he's just following orders, man. Bernard Hopkins, He's a golden boy guy, so he's always gonna put that spin on what he thinks and what he's gonna say in public, compared to what he would say to someone behind closed doors about certain fighters. Like Jorge Linares, did they really want to make that fight with Mikey Garcia? Because it seems like they did. Because Eric Gomez, who is also part of Golden Boy, basically said, you know what, Mikey, you can have this fight, no problem, no strings attached. And Mikey still turned it down. And who knows if he's getting paid more for Lipinets. But Lipinets is an easier fight. I have to say, Lipinets is an easier fight than fighting Jorge Linares. But Linares is a guy, I think, if it comes down to skill, Mikey Garcia beats Linares. Absolutely. He's more technically sound, and he's got a bigger punch. I think I got Mikey in that fight. Let me know what you guys think. E King Fight News. Subscribe to the channel.